Dude, I love that other intro, but you cut it out last time when I was like, oh yeah, like it was one of the best intros ever, and you fucking clipped it out, you fuck.
Do it today. Do it this time.
I don't know what I did last time. It was something like, what's up, you exquisite young ladies, old ladies, gender neutral, man, old man, wigs or without wigs. Welcome to the Daddygate podcast. I am your host, Mr. Weezy. And I am accompanied today by a lovely, fetishful kitty cat named
Chancer.
Well, what's up with that intro right there? A little too much.
You started talking about fetishes there, and I started thinking, wait a second, am I actually a furry? But trying not to go into that.
Some furry love definitely in the house today because we haven't done a podcast in quite some time. Life has taken its course, and you've been busy, I've been busy, but here we are today, and I have a feeling the live chat will be lively today, no question. Although this is being recorded on a Sunday Halloween, so happy Halloween to you.
Pre-recording this on Halloween, but we'll run a nice little live chat down the side.
You know what, though, before we get going on the show, last year we did a Halloween special, and I was thinking about that. You know, I think you had come onto my channel, and we live streamed, and wasn't that when Sean showed up?
It could have been.
That was one of those shows when he showed up, dude.
Possibly. He does like
sure
to
it was.
appear on holidays, and it's always like Christmas or New Year. He'll do. He announced the if anyone says snitch or pedophile, they're going to be lawsuited. He said that on Christmas Day, didn't he?
That was Christmas Day. No, but I'm pretty sure he showed up. That was when. I know you don't like doing live streams in general, but that was one of those times where you agreed, and it was on a Halloween. And that was a fun night, man. I think that may have been the first live stream you did, if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
Maybe, I can't remember, dude. My memory is absolutely atrocious at the moment. So, but yes, it is Halloween at the moment, and there has been a lot of creepy goings on in the world of Daddygate, especially with the amount of apologies that Sean Attwood is giving Darren Gee at the moment. I don't think I've seen anything creepier than a grown man apologising repeatedly to another grown man in video after video. But that's what we're getting treated to by Mr. Attwood at the moment. Yeah,
the whole Darren Gee, Sean Attwood, I think that was inevitable. The falling out.
It was inevitable. I think a lot of people have money on it, that they were going to fall out sooner rather than later. But did you think it was going to be this soon?
Man, you never know, but one thing I did know was that it was all inevitable, along with another situation which we will touch on in a bit. But when Darren Gee made that video, and he's got Cameraboy next to him,
he kept the Cameraboy hostage.
Yeah, being a cuck. Don't know what a cuck is. Look up the definition, but he's just watching as Darren Gee is going on his tirade against Sean,
looking at the floor. Shit.
Look at the ground. Stare at the ground.
He was staring at the ground with his hands behind his back.
Was he using his camera, equipment to record it? That would have been the ultimate coco-re.
Recording himself getting a dressing down.
Yeah. Talking all kinds of shit. Using Cameraboy's equipment. Oh man. But
well, it's quite funny how he's allowed that when, remember, he agreed to come on your show and spoke to you at length about various things, and we've gone over it before, but this was where he actually admitted that the Daddygate video was for Cali's adult work profile, not a prank, and all sorts of other stuff. And he wasn't happy about how that interview went down, because you also asked him why Sean Attwood took the role of a paedophile in a paedophile hunting video, which was quite funny. So the Cameraboy didn't like that, didn't like how it went, and he actually copyright struck you for using, what was it, his thumbnail, a thumbnail of him in that video.
Yeah.
Yet, Darren Gee has scolded him in front of the nation, videoed him, recorded him getting a dressing down, being told, I'm not putting up with this is unacceptable behaviour. Darren Gee just absolutely ripping him to shreds. Now, you can agree with Darren Gee's reasons for that or not. Maybe we should get into that. I don't know, but Darren Gee basically cut all ties with Sean Attwood and used the Cameraboy as the stick to beat Sean Attwood with for a while, and it was like the sort of live prop, the human face of Darren Gee splitting up with Sean Attwood yet again, and it was very funny. I'm just surprised that the Cameraboy has not struck Darren Gee down. It's quite strange how they seem to be afraid of Darren in that way. And with the amount of apologies that Sean Attwood has now been putting out, another one was put out today at the time of recording this. I just shake my head. Like, apologise once. Don't just keep apologising over and I owe you an apology. I owe you an apology. It's absolutely outrageous. It's like the most demeaning.
Me.
Yeah,
contact me and we'll get it all sorted.
I thought you changed my number. I thought you changed your number and all this kind of stuff. Like, that should be a bit of a sign. But Darren, very forthright as always, said that I've heard several things that Darren said about Sean. He said that Sean and Jen, who is his new co-host, have been chatting absolute shit to him, and he's worked out that they're chatting absolute shit. He said that they've made multiple promises that they've refused to keep. Darren actually said Sean has told him 4 times that he's going to help him, and that's over the last year, and hasn't helped him once. Just so much going on, and with Darren Gee, when he starts speaking, he tells everything, doesn't he? Although we didn't know that Sean Attwood had offered to pay his rent. And actually, the reason they sort of got back together as friends in the background, it has now transpired, because of what Darren Gee told us now, but it's now transpired that Sean Attwood had actually offered to pay Darren Gee's rent of £750 a month. He didn't offer to pay him £750 a month. He insisted that it would have to be Darren getting a place and then Sean Attwood paying the rent, in a way to kind of have a hold over him, because if Darren Gee's gone and moved into a property now that requires £750 a month rent, Sean Attwood can just threaten to take that back at any moment, and that would leave Darren screwed. So I thought it was quite interesting that Darren said Sean had refused or declined to pay him £750 a month as like a salary kind of thing, or a wage, and instead said
£30,000.
I will only pay your rent. Oh, it's quite an insulting amount, isn't it? £750 a month. It really is. You couldn't have just rounded it up to £1,000. I think that's quite insulting. I think it's the sort of money you would offer to somebody that is kind of desperate for money.
But we know he's hashtag balling now. Mr. Attwood is. He just recently announced a giant new sponsor.
Well, that's right. He's managed to snare a sponsor from the much heralded underground films. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
I'm a cameraman.
There we go. That's the new sponsor right there. That's a sound bite there. Also somewhat famous for doing weddings and putting country music to the wedding videos, and just real weird. He did offer me 6 figures at one point, if we remember correctly. He offered to be my sponsor. Remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, he was offering you. I think he did not offer you £300 initially, and then said he'd be interested to do more, as long as you do his ad at the start of your show every day. You should have took him up on that, man. I mean, fuck's sake, man. Business is business, man.
I probably should have done it. It's all good. I declined his services and because his advances.
Certain people you feel that you may not be able to trust wholeheartedly, and
hell no, especially when you're hanging around with brother.
Well, yeah, that as well. Yeah, the kind of man that gets the phone grabbed from his hand.
But the funny thing is, leading up to that video, they were making it look like there was some kind of a fairy tale relationship going. You saw Cameraboy just stuffing his face. Remember there was one video where he's reaching over the table and eating off of everyone's plate, playing the cleanup man. Now you can interpret cleanup man however you wish.
Do you think he had to pay for his own food, so Sean Attwood paid for everyone else?
I don't know. He was a sponsor. It's very possible that he paid for it, and that's why he was reaching over, giving everyone a reach around on the table and
Yeah.
cleaning up everyone's plate. Hey, man, I paid for these plates. I'm gonna make sure it's all cleaned up.
Well, it's one of Attwood's tactics, isn't it, to take people
Yeah.
out on meals and then announce it to the world? Like he said, remember when he was talking about Yami B? He was like, "I took Yami B out for a meal," and then announced it. It's not just like I took him out for a meal privately and then we sorted things out privately. It's no, I took him out for a meal and then I made a public announcement about that fact afterwards. It's so bad. And then he films the meal that he's having with Darren Gee. Like, look, I'm taking Darren out for a meal.
It's like those people that film themselves. You know, you ever see those videos? Like, there's a turtle trying to cross the road, and then they start recording themselves. Like, look at me, I'm such a hero. I'm gonna save. Just get out and save the goddamn turtle, man.
That's right.
And, and go about your day.
Virtue.
But yeah, they film this. So they even before they even touch the turtle, they'll set like 3 different camera angles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, then they'll put the turtle in the road.
Yeah, and then put some dramatic music.
Well, it's a bit like
I
that.
guess that's an underground films type of way of doing things.
It is a bit virtue signally as well, and like they are treating Darren as if he's like a charity case, you know. Like Sean's like, "I'm just trying to help you, Darren. I'm just trying to help you, honestly." And we all know that that's not true. That he's not just trying to help Darren. And I think going back to that rent thing, insisting that he'll only pay his rent and not pay him money directly to him, that to me is seedy, controlling. There's something dodgy going on there, very dodgy. It shows he wants an element of control over Darren Gee that he shouldn't be entitled to. No employer is entitled to just pay your housing costs and nothing else. You know, no business partnership should be me paying your rent, you know, and that's it. I don't think that's right, but
I think it's pretty obvious why he would offer to do that and things along those lines, because that's what brings him the clicks. No other name or any other videos that he puts out, no one cares about. But as soon as he puts in Darren Gee, that's when the clicks start coming in. And then that goofball, Darren Gee, apparently ends up catching up to the whole scheme, and that's what pissed him off. That's what his whole video was pretty much about. He's like, "Oh, they're just using me for clicks and views." Well, no shit, man. Everyone saw that coming a mile away.
That is the whole point. It is YouTube. So you know, there is an element of you kind of making content for each other or with each other. But I got the impression Darren Gee was just more. Darren Gee got the hump because he was waiting for so long in the gym while the camera boy was filming the owner of the gym, and Darren was saying, "Oh, I've been waiting here for bloody ages." Like, I'm just standing around, and it's like
the guy's unemployed, so he's unemployed and he's crying about a money making scheme,
do something else,
or Ponzi scheme, whatever the hell you want to call it. But he's unemployed, dude, and he's crying like a little baby, man.
Yeah. So to sever the relationship, it seemed like that was what severed the relationship. But as you hear Darren speaking more and more, there's actually a lot more to it. When he said that Sean and Jen had been chatting a load of shit to him, and I can well believe him, because that Jen person that Sean has got on, she does chat a load of shit.
Well, she was on your channel.
She was on my channel, and
claims.
I was completely neutral towards her. I didn't think anything towards her at all. I was like, okay, so Attwood's got this new co-host. I think she says she's 33, but she looks at least 10.
If she's 33, I'm
18.
Yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah, man.
If that's the case.
I think that is
early 50s is the new 33, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. She's the same age. She's the same age as Attwood, definitely.
No
maybe a couple
question,
years
bro.
younger. But
that, or has lived a very hard life.
Well, as somebody said to me, has had a very hard paper round. But then you see the comments. I mean, the simping that goes on in the comments of Sean's channel, and when she was on Darren's channel, like all these thirsty guys, like, "Oh my God, who's this?" It's like, okay, but it's no offense or anything like that, but it's like a woman in her late 40s wearing a short skirt and knee-high boots. If that's what it takes to get you drooling, you know.
That's the internet for you, though, man.
Well, it is the simping that goes on is just
There's
incredible.
a lot of thirsty mofos out there, man.
Not to take too much of the piss, you know. I mean, but the reason I'm taking the piss is because this Jen chick actually is she definitely tried to pull a fast one on me. She's quite a sneaky person. So she posted a comment on one of my videos. I think it was my most recent video, which wasn't a short, if I remember right. And she posted a comment saying, "Why have you deleted my comments? Have you got something to hide?"
Well, it's supposed to be a pretty much a Cali 2.0, you know.
Same name and everything. It's crazy. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure Cali's been paying attention. I'm sure Cali. I'd be interested to know what her take is, and she knows where to find me, Cali. You know my Skype link, Cali. So feel free to message me and let me know. But she's probably in the background, watching all this go down. And
she hasn't been helped, you know.
Cali 2.0 has supplanted her, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know her take on it. The thing is, even if she came clean and honest with us, with all the lies that she helps fuel and spread, it would be hard to believe anything she said.
It would, and Sean would be able to get her back on side with him, you know, by waving a couple of £50 notes in her direction, I'm sure, you know. Yeah, but I do think Cali probably, as everyone said, she would now almost certainly feels like she has just been cast aside and dumped to the side. And, you know, Sean's kind of trying to get Darren Gee, like, oh, you know, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to look after you, mate. You know, I just want the best for you. I'm just a charitable person, and all I want to do is just spend my money helping people that need it. And you're that person, Darren. Just the same thing as he's kind of said about Cali, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I don't think Darren Gee needs Sean Attwood's help.
Yeah, Sean portrays himself as some shrewd businessman, and he knows you got to spend some money to make some money. And so that's essentially what's going on with the whole Darren Gee stuff. And just seeing him so hard trying to backpedal to the point where he even threw Cameraboy under the bus.
He threw him straight under the bus, yeah.
Take that, cameraman. But yeah, I'm sure cameraman's used to that kind of treatment.
I think he enjoys it, man. It's the only thing really that gets him off, you know.
No question.
Going back to Jen, because what she actually said was that I deleted comments that she made on my channel. So I went and checked the filter that you get on your YouTube Studio. You can see the comments that have been made and all that kind of thing. She hadn't made any comments on my channel. That was the first comment. The first comment she made on my channel was hello, and the second comment was about 5 minutes after that. She said, "Why are you deleting comments? Got something to hide?" And then I was like, okay, whatever. Like, there's no comments have been deleted. What was the comment? Then she wrote, "Why don't you go to my Instagram and you'll see it there?" And then she deleted that comment. So I couldn't even get a bloody screenshot of that because she deleted it so quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't have Instagram, so I never went to Instagram. But obviously, people told me that she posted on Instagram, and she posted on Instagram a screenshot of a comment that she claims was made on my channel, but it wasn't. And it says, she's written, "My comment that was quickly deleted by the Scottish troll Chancer over his false accusations on his most recent video." This is what she claims she wrote on my channel, which she never. She said, "Sean called James out today for all the false information you fed him, Chancer," talking about James English. "Great attempt to deflect it onto Daddygate in this video, but you personally have led James down a path where he repeated your false claims, e.g. Sean is banned from schools. FYI, I am with him now, travelling back from One Talk now. You can check out video proof on my Insta or Sean's. Single-handedly, you have doubled James's legal issues, harmed his reputation. I suggest you learn facts and read Sean's lawsuit. You will see it has nothing to do with Cali. In the future, you really need to mind your own business and drink plenty of water." So that's what she wrote, right? Yeah. Saying that I personally have led James English down a path where he repeated my false claims, blah, blah, blah. Not quite sure what they're talking about there. And then she's going on, obviously, that how I doubled James's legal issues and harmed his reputation. And Jen thinks that I deleted that comment. I would have deleted that comment. I would have pinned that comment if I'd saw that on my channel. You know, there's no way I would have deleted that. That's such a ridiculous comment that it would have been worth pinning just to see what the replies to it were.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know who the hell she was, to be honest with you. It took me a minute. The first time I had heard, I think you showed me a comment from this person, and I just saw the name Jen. Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, Cali Diamond's back. And then I'm like, that don't look like Cali Diamond. So it took me a minute to understand what the hell was going on. And then I was like, oh, okay. I had been seeing this.
Well, how old
person.
How old's Cali? Cali is like, what, 31, 32? Jen says she's the same age as Cali.
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I mean, that's his believable.
It's obviously Attwood's missus, though. He's so happy that he's got a missus. He's made her.
Yeah, but that's how he was with Cali as well. And then Cali got thrown to the side, which we all knew would happen at some point in time. It's just typical behavior. You know, all these falling outs with these characters. It's inevitable. It's just their way of doing things that makes these types of situations inevitable at some point. Do you have anything more to add to that, or did you want to?
I think that's just a developing story, to be honest. It wasn't. Yeah. It was just worth a little mention. I just thought it was quite entertaining that she's claiming that I deleted that comment, which, you know, I wouldn't delete a comment. It's entertainment. I don't take these things seriously. And also to say, oh, he's deleted it because he's got something to hide. Why would I would own all that? You know what I mean? Why would I try and hide that? You know what I mean? It's just entertainment.
Yeah, it's
and also when she says you single-handedly doubled James English's legal issues, so I've doubled them from 0 to 0 then, because James English has no legal issues as it pertains to Sean Attwood.
Yeah, that's some good math. I had to do the maths in my head.
Needed to get the calculator out for that
one. Yeah. Man, well, speaking about falling out, I mean, apparently today, a developing story, another inevitable fallout, something that we knew was going to happen eventually. Apparently Sean and his partnership with an anti-cyberbullying campaigner hath come to an end. Again, completely inevitable. No question in my mind that was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And it's hilarious. And the reason given by this person is because Sean had to edit a lot of Darren Gee's comments on the LGBTQ community, which, if anyone listened to him, I mean, he goes in hard in the paint. At the same time, Darren Gee, you know, practically admits to having those kind of tendencies, LGBTQ tendencies, and apparently, you know, he, after being locked up for 7 years, some of these tendencies were starting to sound delicious in his head, and he was ready to go on the prowl until an intervention.
Is that what they call the 7-year itch?
Pretty much, man. So after 7 years,
you switch sides.
Yeah, you just switch sides, apparently. But yeah, I mean, he even makes some weird sounds. Pretty hilarious video, if you ask me.
There's a clip going around, yeah, and you're right. The anti-cyberbullying campaigner is unhappy with Darren Gee's extremely strong opinions, some may say, on issues that interest the anti-cyberbullying campaigner. Sean Attwood has edited those opinions out of podcasts that he's recorded with Darren Gee to keep them YouTube friendly, and Darren Gee's unhappy about the fact that Sean edited them out. And the anti-cyberbullying campaigner is also unhappy that Attwood is prepared to sort of bow down in such a way for Darren Gee. But that little clip that you're talking about there of Darren Gee talking about how after 7 years of being in prison, he started to consider his options, let's say.
Yeah.
I just saw that today, just before we came on the air. He was going to
diversify his portfolio. Yeah, I was trying to look into what that whole nurse intervention deal was. I don't know if you were able to find out.
I have no idea what that was about. Did the nurse come into the cell and
I don't
how
know,
can a
like
nurse be able to stop that? It's not really a medical issue, is it?
it's almost like the way the way Darren Gee was talking about it, it sounds like there was some, he had his eyes set. There was something that was looking rather tasty for him in an all-male prison. It was right in front of him. He was ready to take advantage of the situation. And apparently a nurse with a halo around her or his head, the light was shown on him and said, Darren Gee, do not plunge. And apparently that's what stopped him. If had that nurse not been there, Darren Gee would be hanging out with Cody and maybe, taking things a little bit further.
Well, and Darren did mention Cody in that clip as well, didn't he? He mentioned Cody in a manner which is definitely not YouTube friendly. So, like you say, I don't know how a nurse could have intervened, but for anyone that is wondering, what you're talking about,
I'm trying to talk in code because
we might be able to find the clip, but it is actually pretty much what Darren said. He said he was in the cells, he'd been there for 7 years, and he said that he'd started having thoughts about
plunging a different kind of knife.
Yeah, having relationships with other prisoners in prison, kind of thing.
But honest, I'm being upfront and fucking honest about it, innit? I was only 7 years in, right? That nurse popped up, saved me, wham, kept me heterosexual, red-blooded male, yeah?
How could a nurse intervene to help? We're kind of getting off on a tangent here, but it's quite interesting. Like, how could a nurse have stopped that? Like, do you just go to the nurse?
I don't know.
Start thinking like that.
Or the other way I interpreted it was that the nurse saw Darren about to commit this act and just started praying those feelings away from Darren. I don't know, man. That's why I'm wondering.
I looked at it was maybe the nurse came in and got a bit frisky with him.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Who knows? Because there was no other context to go by. I mean, I guess just
who knows? I mean,
just guess. Take a wild guess.
Such an odd. It was quite an odd.
I found it comical, man.
Statement
I'm
to
not gonna
make.
lie. Well, yeah, I found it comical for a variety of reasons. In my opinion, it made Mr. G hypocritical on his stance on that community because he's pretty much admitting that he was ready to act.
Yeah, exactly.
It
is hypocritical to denounce people for lifestyles which you yourself have considered.
Yeah, 100%, man. And so it's not that aspect, pun intended, that makes it funny. It's just the aspect of him being a hypocrite, demonizing a community while essentially entertaining those thoughts yourself. So, but yeah, that's what triggered the whole fallout with this alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner.
Yeah, so
self-proclaimed.
The anti-cyberbullying campaigner is annoyed that Sean Attwood still wants to help Darren Gee, despite the things that Darren Gee has said, negative things that Darren Gee is alleged to have said about certain members of LGBT community. That's what I'm gathering. And, that comes down to, in my opinion, freedom of association, not really to defend Sean Attwood, but in this sense, like, Sean's allowed to associate with who he wants. Just because somebody he's associating with is saying certain things, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It shouldn't make any difference to. You can't burn somebody at the stake for their association with another person, in my opinion.
It shouldn't be shocking because this alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner has also made various threats against anyone who has associated with myself.
Several times.
If you are associated with myself, you need to be canceled, and has made those threats. It's just threats. So it's not out of character for this person to do. This person.
Death by association, cancellation by association. This is one of the tactics that, like, social justice warriors have used for such a long time, and I see it as no different, really.
Yeah. No, it's. Once you see it and recognize it for what it is, it's easy to spot. I mean, when was it? Not this last Friday, but the Friday before that. The Honest Truth channel with Uncle Bobby had a show. I called in. My son came in and just did a cute little, little sound. He just pops in and out, and he finds it. He's a funny little man.
Mini
so
Truthy.
Yeah, he's a mini me, 100%.
He is it sounds like a mini you, man.
And I love my mini me. But yeah, he likes to have fun. He likes to cause some trouble. And so he came in, just did some goofy sound, and then just walked away. Apparently, this alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner then made some ridiculous post that after hearing my son make that, special guest appearance, that this person then began to weep the rest of the show because like, apparently I just cradle my son as I'm spewing the most violent hate speech. I'm cradling him and teaching him the
cradling
ways
him
of
as you
hate.
spew forth hatred while the holy people weep for you.
Well, that was brought up to my attention the very next day on Saturday. And a lot of people were upset. They're like, oh man, this person, how low does someone have to be to bring in your kids and your family?
Bringing children into things is absolutely out of order, though, and it is something that we've seen from this person before.
Yeah. I mean, I've been accused of beating my wife, my kids, and they're all scared of me. So this is what made that situation hilarious, was because in that clip, my son is having a good time, being hilarious. I'm like, oh yeah, that destroys your whole narrative that my wife and kids are so scared of me, that they keep, I keep them in a dungeon, in a cellar, while I just run about, and I just throw them my scraps, I'll buy some ribs and whatever's left over, I just feed it to them in a dungeon.
Throw the bones down.
Yeah, I throw the bones down.
Meat soup out to get all the matter out.
That's the image that this alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner gives.
I know what you say. It destroys the narrative, and it does. But the narrative didn't ever get off the ground because that was just a statement that was made out of nowhere, and any single person is able to see that is total BS because there's nothing said to back it up with. If there was some sort of evidence, like here's a news story, by the way, and this is you, and you know what I mean, fair enough.
Well, when I was asked, how am I doing, man? That was hard. It honestly didn't do anything to me because it's a pattern. It's been a repeated pattern with this individual.
It's so obvious.
I don't know if it was before this incident or a little bit after. This person made another post. This is someone that calls himself an alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner and constantly making these slanderous and defamatory remarks against me. And I just laugh it off. It's not a big deal. But this person said that because I had not gone to the Miami Police Department and made an official report, that by default, that meant that I had this long rap sheet. And that's why I didn't do it, because then it would have made my problems bigger and all this crap. Again, making the most ridiculous allegations and no one ever questioning them.
Very specific as well. No evidence and very specific. It's just say what you want and people will believe it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, this person has exploited the loophole that apparently if you live in the UK and you can defame, you can say the most racist remarks you want against citizens from other countries. That is a loophole that this person is exploiting at the moment, and that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. If it's not true, why am I? It's not gonna do nothing to me, so I don't care. That's the way I approach life. But this the very next day after my son did that, people were asking me, "How do you feel?" And I responded like that. It didn't do nothing to me. I just laugh it off. So then the very next day, my son gets on. And just gives this anti-cyberbullying campaigner a shout out. And it was cute as hell. Just again, destroying the narrative that no one buys or believes in. Just their own narrative that they believe and buy into in their own mind. Just comical stuff, man. Comic relief. No biggie.
It is now at the point where It's just entertaining. At the beginning, it was like, what's going on? I can't believe these kind of people actually exist. I mean, the amount of vindictiveness and just sort of hatred that comes from that corner was eye-opening at the beginning. But as soon as you realize it's all just absolute bull, it's as if it's like when someone just lies to you once, you stop trusting them, you know?
Yeah. Well, that happened to us months ago with this
So they have no
individual.
power anymore.
You know, I still remember clearly the very first few lies that we both clearly saw, and we didn't have any issues with this person, but apparently they had turned on both of us.
That's right,
And we were seeing it, and I remember you and I, you know, privately speaking, because we hadn't said nothing publicly at this point in time, and rather than get angry or whatever, we were like, what the hell? Why is this person lying?
Exactly.
This never happened. And we were in disbelief. And it's just the carefully crafted facade of this image that is just holier than thou, just is a voice of reason. It's all fake, man. But
what was shocking about it is that it wasn't just lies that were taken, like, you know, from the truth, and then it wasn't the truth being twisted. It was just out and out made up statements out of nowhere.
Made up, 100%. No truth.
And said as if they were
not a sliver of truth behind any of these things. Yeah. And so over the months now, anytime something has been said, there's nothing. And this is why I've been saying that the role in Daddygate that this person led us to believe at the very beginning is, in my opinion, it's not truthful at all. And I don't believe anything that comes out from this person needs to be verified before you can start to believe it at all, because I don't believe anything that is said by this person. I mean, and it's just the delivery. The thing that helps this person say their lies, their defamatory remarks, their slanderous remarks, it's the delivery in which they do it. And that seems to fool a lot of people. It fooled me for a time and fools a lot of people. But once you peel away from those layers, you can see the reality for what it is.
But it's very difficult to get your head around it at the start when someone's just saying things that just are made up out of nowhere and completely untrue, and they're saying it with a straight face. It is very difficult to understand. It's a very odd experience.
Yeah,
and
I've never encountered anything like that.
I
really,
think there'll be people in the audience who are just like who don't quite realize how weird that is. It'd be like one of your friends just suddenly saying totally false statements about you with a completely straight face, and you're watching them say these things to other people. It makes no sense, and it's sort of, in a way, it ends up in them just gaslighting you, because there's that great word again. But if you try and
that's what happened to us, because that's what I was touching on when we first came across these lies. You and I were like, "What? Did this really happen? Is this true?" You know, like we were questioning ourselves.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
it is gaslighting to one of the highest degrees.
Sanity.
Yeah. And it would just be like you having a friend. You're at a supermarket and you see your friend pocket some delectable, fruit, and they just put it in their pocket, and then security comes,
some low hanging,
and you go like, they point the finger on you. I saw this man steal the fruit, and you're like, what? I just saw you do it with my own eyes. And they start crying and weeping and saying you are the biggest thief. Just completely. I don't know, man. It's just
it would be like that, except in that example you give, somebody stole fruit, whereas in the example that we're talking about, it's literally just things that don't exist and came from nowhere. You can't even see fruit. Where they come from.
Holographic fruit. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that it's even worse than the example I gave. 100%.
Yeah, it's even weirder. Although the example you gave is quite entertaining. Did give me a nice mental image of being there shopping and my friend completely unable to stop themselves stealing this delicious looking fruit
that doesn't exist.
would you not, I mean, in that, you would do a Sean Attwood then and offer to buy the fruit for them.
Yeah, then Cameraboy would sponsor
a live stream with you.
Cameraman would sponsor that clip. Yeah, man, just another. I know it's been a while. So, one thing we didn't touch on is the whole Decca Heggie situation, man. And it's kind of tied in to this person because apparently Decca Heggie, from what I can gather, something is going on where he's using Attwood's old lie, the trolls. My views on Decca, man, I'll just say it. I was neutral on the guy. I had heard certain things about this character, but based on his video where he comes out defending this alleged anti-cyberbullying campaigner, my views on the man, I've got nothing for him. No,
so
no
strange,
respect.
isn't it, that you
Yeah, because
that person.
it's clear to anyone that watched that video, it's clear that he doesn't even know this person.
Yeah, he doesn't know the person.
He doesn't even know how to correctly say their name. So for him, and then for him to come out and talk about people's gullibility, you know, make fun of people for being gullible, when if you believe anything that this alleged campaigner has to say, you have to be the most gullible person out there, because the lies, the paperwork is all out there. On my Odysee channel, I have a 2-hour expose on this person, showing screenshot after screenshot after screenshot for all of my claims. I'm not just spewing things out. It's all there. The evidence is there. And so for this person, for Decca Heggie to throw out the word gullibility, and then the other hilarious part was to mention this person and freedom of speech, or in one breath, and then freedom of speech in the next breath, had me dying of laughter, man. After all the people that have been canceled due to this person, all the attempts in trying, you know, sending cease and desist orders whenever this person gets brought up to other channels, it's just hilarious, man.
Decca, and you know, like you, man, I'm pretty much neutral on Decca Heggie. There are certain, like you say, there are certain rumors going about him. But he hasn't been involved in the Attwood situation specifically, and I'd need to see more information and more evidence about what's going on. It's very confusing. I've got no idea who he's talking about in most of his videos. I've been watching.
He was talking about some old lady that's dying of terminal ill
no
cancer.
idea who he's talking about.
I don't know who he was talking about. The problem that I had, I'm sorry to interrupt, man. The problem that I had with that statement is that he will then conflate. I've never heard of the people he was talking about, but then he conflates those haters, all the same haters of this alleged campaigner. And when I heard that, I'm like, what the hell are you talking? I don't even know who you're talking about. The reason that I have discussed in this campaigner is because of what I have already previously mentioned. The lies, the slander, the racial remarks. It's completely separate to whoever the hell you're even talking about.
Yep.
You know,
and Decca's video was slammed with dislikes and disappeared shortly afterwards.
He put it on private.
Dislikes.
He published it again. So he privated it, and then a few hours later he published it again. But yeah, the like to dislike ratio is
poor.
telling.
Yeah, it's very telling. But
it's no different from the Attwood and the campaigner interview as well. You look at the like dislike. People are aware of the shenanigans, man, and that to me is the most important thing. You know, these people can't hide anymore.
What struck me was the amount of similarities between what Decca appeared to be having to deal with and the amount of similarities in the tactics used by this anti-cyberbullying campaigner and also by Sean Attwood. So Decca Heggie was absolutely outraged, and you know, he gets pretty wound up, you know, he gets pretty ragey, but he was absolutely outraged because he'd been getting hit with cease and desist notices, he'd been getting hit with defamation strikes, and he'd been getting hit with copyright strikes. These are all tactics that had been used at the exact same period of time against myself and people within our sort of corner of YouTube. The Honest Truth, for example, you know, other people, True Media, you know, these kinds of things are getting used. And I was hit with a defamation strike and a copyright strike at the same time as Decca was hit by a defamation strike and a cease and desist notice. And cease and desist notices were also getting struck against people in our side of things as well. So
Yeah.
these tactics getting used by the Attwood camp and the anti-cyberbullying campaigner camp appear to have been getting used against Decca Heggie as well. And it just makes you wonder whether somebody's on the wind-up against him. Are the same people involved? Because it's the first time I've ever had a defamation strike against me. And then Decca Heggie puts out a video saying he's got one against him.
Yeah.
But then a minute later, he's putting out a video defending the person that hit me with a defamation strike. You know, it's just
so
odd, and it's too sort of weird to get in. It's too conflated to try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I'd love for somebody to, break it all down, but I don't think that is going to be me, unfortunately, because I can't work out, first of all, who the hell Decca's talking about half the time. Still don't know who he's talking about. He uses so many different names about different people. He keeps talking about how he's going to do an expose on somebody. Is that out yet? Has he done that yet? Because he put out about 15 videos before he did that. And I was wanting to know what the hell he was talking about. It was quite interesting for a while, but he just ended up putting out all these other videos and just...
Yeah, man. I mean, after this whole thing, I'm just going to say it. This is how I feel. I'm not saying this is how you feel. These are my opinions on Decca. He's a terrible podcaster. I'll just go out and say it. He just talks. All you hear is some Neanderthal like sounds. I don't even know what the hell he's saying half the goddamn time. He's just yelling and screaming, and that's not how you podcast, man. And then he's got all these damn subs, and he uses the microphone on his laptop to record a podcast. He doesn't even have a proper podcast setup. So how the hell can you consider yourself a damn podcaster? It seems like a lot of people in this corner, think that recording a video is a damn podcast. There's a lot more to it. And if you're going to call yourself a podcaster, you need podcasting equipment, which means a proper microphone, proper editing software, which is what the Daddygate podcast, Like and Subscribe, does. But there's a lot more to it than just flipping on a record button.
You would think he would have some better setup. He's got
you're scratching 20,000 subs, and it sounds like shit.
I don't know how we heard about him before. Was Attwood on his show or something before? Or
it may have been with Billy Moore.
Might have been something to do with that. But he blew up really more recently because of having Darren Gee and Sean Attwood on together. You know what I mean? And he should have capitalized on that.
Paddy Conroy pushed him up too. Shout out to Paddy Conroy.
Shout out to Paddy, Paddy's sound.
Yeah. But that pushed him up as well. That gave him a big boost. And so that's kind of, I didn't know much about this clown. So when I interviewed Paddy Conroy, and that interview is on my Odysee channel, if you guys are interested, I did interview the one and only, the OG of OGs, Mr. Paddy Conroy. When I interviewed him, Decca interviewed him like a short time after. So my interview was kind of like a boom, this is going to happen on that show. So I didn't know much about Decca. Again, I was neutral at that point in time. Not positive, not negative. I didn't know much, so I'm not going to make my mind up. But after this whole fiasco, now you got my raw feelings, man. Yeah, I think it's crap. That's just my opinion.
I mean, he's had ample time to improve things in terms of his audio quality. Although, to be fair, I haven't sat down and watched it. I don't think I've sat down and watched any of his podcasts, apart from the one that he did with Darren and Sean. So,
and I saw that, and it didn't seem like he was just hanging out, and it's on his channel, and the guest audio sounds decent, and he's the host of the channel, and his audio sounds like shit. But it wasn't just the audio quality; it was just the whole format.
Yeah,
the way he didn't. I don't know. That's just me. That's just my own opinions. That's not your opinions. That's my opinion. I think
he copyright strikes people as well, which I don't agree with. I don't think people should be. I don't like when people copyright strike each other on YouTube. You know what I mean? I think I'm kind of against copyright striking people.
To be fair, though, I will say this one positive thing. I've noticed he does ban people on his comments. He does. We've seen him do it. But for the most part, he will leave negative comments on there quite a bit, so I will give him some credit points.
Yeah, he does seem to leave up the criticism and stuff like that. Yep. I think he was just defending.
I will give him that.
I think his defense of the anti-cyberbullying campaigner, was because the anti-cyberbullying campaigner has defended him in the past in what appeared to be a very open and obvious attempt to try and get on his show.
Yeah. Well,
because we saw the same
this
thing with BNT. This person trying to get on brand YouTube and defending them. So this person started talking good things about Decca
buttering
Heggie,
people up.
buttering up Decca Heggie, but has again started saying negative things about Decca Heggie as well.
Well, it's just based on these characters and their traits and personality profiles. It's just inevitable that all this falling out is going to happen. I mean, we've experienced it with these characters, and to see it happening, whether it's Darren Gee, Decca Heggie, and even now Sean and this alleged campaigner, it's not a surprise to us. We've been studying these characters and in these situations for quite a while now, that it's not shocking.
Well, it's because a lot of these people are so just antisocial on a deep level that they don't know how to work with other people. And whether that is from what you see from Darren Gee or Sean Attwood, always screwing up his relationships with people, Decca Heggie screaming at the screen. You've got the anti-cyberbullying campaign.
The trolls! The trolls! The trolls! He sounds like a Scottish, a United Kingdom Randy Savage.
Yeah, it's insane, man.
Slap into a Slim Jim. The trolls!
Yeah, I think he's a Geordie, I think. A lot of people in Scotland consider the Geordies to be the sort of closest
to them. You call him a true Geordie or a fake Geordie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
What happened to True Geordie as well? Where's their continued defense of Sean Attwood during all of this? There was that one off that they had, like, oh, we owe him a favor, we better give him this one. But they've been very quiet on the Attwood front, very sensibly.
I never paid attention to their content to begin with. To be honest,
they've not said anything, dude, about him at all.
Again, I as podcast host, there wasn't really much to it. I would say that they're better podcast hosts than old Mr. Wedgies over here, but that's just my opinion.
You wonder how some of these people get so big sometimes, don't you? It's like luck. Yeah. I think at the time they're just
popularity contests, man.
I mean, I don't know who these people are, how they got famous. I've never heard of these people. Like, I don't know if they were on TV before they went on YouTube or what it's from.
YouTube.
And we know a lot of them are actors and actresses, and a lot of people on YouTube.
Hello, Mila Productions.
They want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, man. There's too many clowns in this space. Yeah, man.
They cannot work with each other. They do not know how to hold a relationship, like a business working or civil or polite relationship together. It's either they seem to think like either you've got to be best friends and you've got to get into bed with each other every single night, or
it should be a symbiotic relationship where there's value for value. You know what I mean? And respect. If you find that good symbiotic relationship, it should be a relationship. You should
rather than a parasitic relationship.
Yeah, it seems like a parasitic. Exactly. It's like that.
Sean and Cali comes to mind there. I mean, he was sucking like a leech off of Cali.
Yeah, and then the life got sucked out of it, and
yes,
use your own minds. But then, and that's why it'd be interesting to know Cali's thoughts on this whole new relationship.
It would be if anyone can get hold of Cali
2.0 relationship that's going on right now.
Absolutely. Although Sean will probably get in touch with her and tell her what to say. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, like the whole Mr. Butt thing, man.
Mate, we're not allowed to talk about that. That conversation by Mr. Butt criticizing Sean Attwood is apparently copyrighted, and you're not allowed to play it. Although you can actually see my video that was struck down covering that Mr.
On
Butt.
The Honest Truth.
On the Honest Truth channel. Yeah,
we'll put a link to that video.
Yeah, put a link down below. So the Honest Truth have stepped up, and as I've said before, they got a copyright strike for that. So good on them.
Yeah, shout out to them.
YouTube can be.
It's tricky, man.
Confusing sometimes.
Yeah, you'll see some things on YouTube. You're like, how the hell is this still up? and then you'll see other stuff get canceled, and you're like, whoa, what? It
Yeah,
doesn't make
exactly.
any
It's
sense,
like,
man.
wait, hold on a second. How can this literally be on YouTube?
Different sets of rules, apparently, and so I don't know. You just got to be treading carefully, unfortunately, and this is what we're trying to do with this show. Well, where can people find you, Mr. Chancer? We're coming up on our delectable 60-minute time slot here.
Here is a good place to find me on the Daddygate podcast, and of course on my main channel. God knows when I'm going to make a video, but I am going to continuing to make videos. I haven't disappeared, but that is Chancer on YouTube, and also you can get me on Odysee, also called Chancer, and on brand YouTube, also called Chancer. And
Nice.
if you want to message me, then you can do so on Twitter. My DMs should be open, so feel free to fire me a message on there. It's Chancer Media on Twitter.
There you go. You can find me on YouTube, What is Truth TV. I'll put a link to there. I am there. I would love to see a lot of you delicious Daddygate podcast subscribers smash that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. What I've been doing recently, I will do a rated G version on YouTube, and then we will take the after party uncensored, unapologetic over to Odysee. So to get the best of both worlds, please subscribe to the YouTube and the Odysee. That's where the party happens. I'm also on Twitter, What is Truth Pod, or Weezy Truth on Twitter. Find me there. And just another excellent show, my man. We've been long overdue on it, but it finally worked out.
Yeah, man, it's been nice chatting away to you, man. It's been busy times, although hopefully before New Year anyway, things should have settled down on my side, so we'll be able to start putting out regular content again, hopefully.
Smashing them. Hell yeah.
Hopefully be able to catch up and do this more often as well, but we'll have a couple of conversations before then, I'm sure.
Absolutely, my man. All right. Well then, thank you guys all for tuning in. Much love to all you awesome subscribers. You guys have been there from different times, different eras, different epochs, whatever the word is. But you guys are the lifeblood to this channel. Please subscribe to Chancer's channels and my channels. And if you guys can't get enough of this content, much love, y'all. Trick or treat all night long. God damn it. All right, y'all. Peace.
See you later, folks.
I'm a cameraman. I'm a cameraman. I'm a cameraman. I'm a cameraman.